Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Wednesday webinar. Today we're joined by joined by Serge from Musicplay, presenting today's webinar, exploring new French resources on Musicplay Online. So, Serge, why don't you take it away?
Thank you, Denis, and hello everyone. Bonjour, welcome. I wasn't sure whether to do the presentation in French or in English. Alors, j'étais pas sûr de si on devait faire la présentation en français ou en anglais. Je vais la faire en anglais. I will present in English, and you will see that the slides are in French, and they're fairly basic language French anyway, so you should be able to follow along. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. You could ask in the chat, and there will be an opportunity at the end of the session to ask questions. So if I don't answer your question along the way, don't worry about it. Denis will make sure that your question gets asked at the end of the presentation, and I'll do the best I can to answer as completely as possible. So my name is Serge Gingras. I'm one of the staff here at MusicplayOnline. And today we're going to talk about the resources in French on Musicplay Online. Some of you might have followed us on a webinar before, so it might be a bit of a review, but at the same time, it will be an opportunity for you to find out what is new in Musicplay Online and talk a little bit about what our plans are for developing more resources along the way. So let's get going. So as I said, welcome to everyone. And whether you're with us live on Zoom or following us on YouTube, or you're watching the video at a later time. So this is what my plan for today. We'll talk about the resources in French and then an overview of what's happening in our part of the world. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a retired post-secondary institution instructor. I taught French and Spanish at Radio College here for 30 years. I retired in 2015. I've been with Themes and Variations since 2019. I'm working part-time here, and I work as an editor, writer, and translator. And my job consists in a combination of music, language, and teaching and learning, which is wonderful for someone in my position, like, being retired. Just to add a note that my background in music was dating back from high school for the most part. And then 2 years ago, I decided to engage in some professional development. So I went to Campus Saint-Jean at the University of Alberta, and I took courses in music, and I sang with a couple of choirs. So that was a fabulous learning experience for me for 2 years. So our resources in French are from initially when I joined Themes and Variations. It was to answer a demand by French immersion teachers, particularly from Ontario, to have resources in French, but not necessarily traditional French. Some of the resources that already existed on Musicplay Online or in Musicplay at the time. But it's the program is suitable for immersion programs, for Francophone schools, for bilingual program like the dual track. And sometimes we've heard from teachers who teach in English, but will take some of the songs in French and use it, like, as a catalyst, for example, for diversity in culture. Why do we do this? It's to in response to the demand and the needs of subscribers to Musicplay Online. And our purpose is music education at the elementary level. In my work as a translator, and that involves, like, anything and everything from lyrics to posters, information, and whatnot. But when I work on lyrics particularly, my main objective is to maintain the authenticity and the integrity of the songs whether it's the character of the song, the theme of the song, or the games that's associated with it, because sometimes the lyrics will not be exactly the same in French as they are in English, but we try to align the lyrics and the song with the game that already exists in English. Sometimes we make some edits to that game just to adapt it better to the lyrics, but by and large, the games are pretty much the same in French and in English. It's also the integrity of the program. We want things to be pertinent, relevant. We want to follow the similar sequence in songs and same as the school level of the students. And of course, the language, we want the vocabulary, the grammar, and the terminology to be accurate. So we'll go over the songs, the units, the games, the listening kits, the instruments, the toolbox, the lesson planning, and then at the end, I will share with you some of the ideas that we have for future work, and then I'll be able to answer your questions and comments. To navigate through the songs on the site, there's a selection of songs that are either traditional songs in French. I'm thinking, for example, about like Frère Jacques, Mon Moulin, that come from like Au clair de la lune and songs like those that are traditionally French. But the bulk of the songs that we have are translation of lyrics of the songs. The music's the same. Sometimes there might be like, minor changes in the rhythm of the song, just like, in a bar or two, just to make to make the lyrics fit. It's quite the exercise to adapt lyrics to music from one language to another, because, for example, like the stress of the syllable will not necessarily fall on a strong beat, and then we want to make sure that that's what happens, that the stress of the syllable of the song of the word actually falls on the appropriate beat. We have songs for right now for grades 1, 2, 3, and 4. We started with grade 1 and then added grade 2, grade 3, and then for the last, I'd say 10 to 12 months, we've been working on adding songs in grade 4. How to find the songs in French on MusicPlay. You have 3 options you're pretty familiar with the website already. You know that there are a selection of 3 options for languages, all languages, English and French. You can says the list of songs, either a complete list or by grade level, grade 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I put kindergarten in brackets because we have 1 song in kindergarten right now that was initially in grade 1, but we moved it to kindergarten because we thought it was more appropriate to have it there. It's called Mon Petit Chat est Bleu. There's also a list called General, and I will talk a little bit more about that later. Another way to get to the songs, that if you know the title of the song or you have a keyword for the song, you could add it to the Discover line, and then the website will give you a list of potential songs. So I set here the 3 possibilities, like the all languages, the English and the French. I will go to the website also and show you a few things as I go along the way. So to find the songs that are available in French, you have the option of going with all languages or the French language feature. If you go to English only, you might find some songs in French, but those are what I call on the English side. So all the information about the songs and the resources attached to the song will be in English. And that was for teachers of English programs who wanted to have like, a francophone, a French component to their teaching. So if you go by list, um, and I use like the French language feature here, you can have, so if you don't add a filter for the grade, so if you look at the two images here, like I don't have a filter here and I have one over there. So this filter on the left without the grade will give you, and I will go to, so this is a filter without the filter, and you can scroll down and down and down and down, and all the songs will be listed by grade, starting in grade 1 and then grade 2 and then grade 3, 4, 5. So um, you may have to scroll down, like, quite a bit before you arrive at the grade that you want. So it's easier if you select a grade and then only the songs for that grade will appear on your screen. And then if you went, let's say you wanted to have the songs for grades 1 and 2, then you would click on both boxes. If you only wanted the songs for grade 2, then the grade 2 songs would appear. So you could go to a list and do your search either without a filter or with a filter for grade 1, 2, 3. Oh, I forgot to add like grade 4 here. And there's also a filter called general. And I'll talk a little bit more about that. Each grade, the songs for the grades are identified also by colors. Interesting fact that Denise shared with us a long, long time ago is that those colors for the grades actually correspond to the Red Cross swimming program. When the Red Cross, for those of you have been to the Red Cross program, when they were having a color, like levels by color, those are the same colors that were used by Red Cross at the time. You could also find a song by using the search engine, the Discover feature on the website. And it's right here. And here, like as an example, I typed the word souris, mouse, and then it gives me the list of songs that have the word souris in it. And as I mentioned, like, the dots indicate the grade where you would find those songs. For example, orange is a grade 2, yellow is a grade 1, blue is a grade 4, etc. The gray is the general category. In the general category, I'm going to go back to it. In the general category, I'll show you on the website what they are and why we put them in general. When you see private, these are either songs that we don't use anymore or songs that have been revisited or songs that will be revisited. But if you look at those, like à la Clairefontaine, Mon Beau Château, à Simon Moine, Alouette, Bienvenue à la musique, etc., those are songs that were built before my time at Themes and Variation. In our history, we've had a few people work on the French side. Some had virtually no background in music and whatnot. Others were from French immersion programs and tried the best they could, like, to write songs in French. But sometimes, like, the grammar was a bit awkward, or the vocabulary that was used wasn't wasn't exact, or it was like, kind of a word taken from English and then try to francisize it. So some of the songs will be revisited. Some have been revisited and republished with more resources attached to the song, whether it's videos or worksheets or that kind of thing. And part of our project is to take those songs. Some of them are traditional French song, and what happened is that when they built the song, they did a recording of it, and there's just a video of the notation and a video of the lyrics with no resources attached to the song. So what we try to do for each song is you will typically find videos, one for notation and one for lyrics. There are concept slides, and those concept slides will be the notation, the lyrics. Sometimes it's going to be boom whacker. Sometimes you'll have like Orff. And sometimes there'll be like, musical concepts in the concept slides that say like, the structure A, B, B, A, for example, if it's a song that has a structure, or about like, we adding a new note. Let's say like, that in this song, we introduced the note mi or E. And then that's all part of that. The lyrics, obviously. So under teacher tools, when we build the song, if it's a translation of an English song into French, we add the link on the English side to the song that will say disponible en français, and then you click on this. I'll show you one song that has that. Let's play with grade 3. For example, like this is Le Papayer. And if you click on this, it will open a different window and take you to the song in English. If you are in a song in English and we have a French version for it, then you click on Disponible en français, and it will open that same song in French. When I'm on the website, I want to make sure. Yep. So there'll be a description of the song, the purpose of the song. Like, this song might be useful, for example, for sight reading, or might be good, like, to work, would be a good song to work on a specific rhythm. In grade 1, initially, when we started developing the songs in grade 1, we were also translating the teacher guide that went with it. So if you look at songs in grade 1, you will find that many of them have a teacher guide. Just for efficiency, we arrived at one point where we felt it was more important to develop more songs without the teacher guide than have a teacher guide for each song. So one of our projects for the coming months is to start developing teacher guides for a larger number of songs. And in those teacher guides, you will have like, the teaching objectives. It might have like, the game directions, things related to reading and writing music, and sometimes like, the link with the programs in general, whether like, provincial or for state and whatnot. You also find arrangements for piano. Most of them will also have guitar and ukulele. Some will have boom whackers, and some will have the Orff arrangement. Now, what we did for the Orff arrangement, if there's a game attached to the song, because we don't have a translation of the teacher guide, we put the game directions in the Orff with the Orff arrangement. So you would have to go to the arrangement Orff, open it, and then the description of the game will be there. Eventually, those directions for games will be moved, copied probably. So we keep them with the Orff activity, but they will be attached to a teacher guide. We also have printables. So those could be worksheets for beat and rhythm. There could be like, what we call the solfa challenge, the note name challenge. On the French side, when there is a challenge for notes, typically we'll have both the solfa and the note names. My experience when I took courses at U of A in the last couple of years, and working with and talking with teachers of music in Alberta particularly, there's a tendency to use both the Latin solfège and the letter names, and somehow students work better with one or the other. So and I think in their training, teachers in Alberta sometimes had their training in English, and then to go to the Latin note names is a little bit of a stretch. So they're more comfortable doing that. The same thing, like in the vocabulary that I heard uh, teachers using. Sometimes, like they will use like either an Anglicism or the English word uh, for um, for the term that they mean. I'm thinking of nuance, for example. Um, that's it for songs. Now we're going to move to units. In the units, so the songs is where we have like the most resources, but we have also been developing resources on other segments of the website. In units, if you look at units without the filter, this is typically what you would find. This is without the filter. We have three big segments in units, if you will. We have the instruments of the orchestra, the carnival of the animals, and the composers. For now, we have for the composers, we have the six of them. We have the movies, and we have questions related to the movies. I'll talk about the plan for developing more resources for those at the end of the presentation. So if you use the filter French for the units, these are the four units that you'll find. The Rêve de Bizet here is one that we're developing. So if you try to open it, you will not see that on your screen, the private ones, but eventually we will open it. So if you go to the English side of the unit, then you'll find the information for Bizet. Quatre Coins is a rhythm game, four corners that we recently added to our website. For games, we have two. And like, the best way to locate them is again, like, go to the language filter and use French. And you'll find the two games, Quatre Coins and Bingo, Bingo des Instruments, Instrument Bingo. In the listening kits, we have listening kit, and they're located obviously in listening kits, and you don't have to pick any of those. Although if you do go to listening kits, this is without the filter. And you'll see like, that you have to scroll quite a bit to get to the ones in French. So it's easier to change your language. And this is what is going to show up. They're all in lesson one. So if you also check this box, this is what you're going to find. If you check lesson 2, 3, 4, or 5, you will see that there's no content there yet. These came about, and it's kind of the story of some of the resources that we have buried here and there, and I'll show you how to find some of them because it's sometimes quite the exercise to get to it. Are the results of someone saying, "Oh, it'd be nice, like if Musicplay had this," and then I would be directed to develop that. I remember those were a request by Denise 2 or 3 years ago, saying like, it would be nice to have this. Our teachers are asking for this. Can we develop this? And which brings me to letting you know that if there are resources that you would like to have that we don't have in French, but you would like to have them because like, you use it a lot. Let's say if you teach like, dual track and you go like, I use it a lot, like, when I teach in English, it would be nice if I had the same resource in French. We're absolutely open to developing, that kind of thing for you. Under instruments, you will pick instruments here, and to get to the baseball flûte à bec is the recorded baseball. That was one that was requested by teachers. When we launched the recorded baseball in English, we had a few teachers already going like, oh, it'd be cool if you had that in French. So we responded to that by developing it. In the toolbox, and I came upon that, I remember doing the translation for it. So if you do a search in all languages, this is the only one that will show up, and because that's the only one we have, the same way like, in French. So there aren't many available. And this is for students to create word rhythms. And to find it, you will need to go here. Let's say that you're on the, so you'll click on toolbox and it will happen here, and then it will open it. And then you could create a rhythm, and you need to enter a word. So you have to pick a theme. So you pick colors, and then you pick your words, and then students can play the game. Oops. Okay. Next, we're at the lesson planning. Lesson planning is another area where a teacher, like, said, oh, it'd be nice if you had this, or we created, I remember when we created the posters, music advocacy, we got a request right away, like, saying, oh, it'd be nice to have those and, like, and have a posters in our classroom. So to find those, you need to go to lesson planning on the left-hand side, and then you will see in this box the 4 posters that came actually from here. There's more information obviously on this side than there is here, but as we go along again, and as teacher ask for, like, specific documents and whatnot, we're more than happy to develop them. We also have a series of posters that are the translation of what we will learn, posters for all the grades from pre-kindergarten to middle school. Those are a little bit more tricky to find. So I'm in lesson planning here on the left-hand side. You're probably best to stay on the all languages for that. So you have the posters here that I just showed you. It's a bit longer in French than it is in English because there are more letters in music in French than there are in music in English. So to get to those are, I'm talking about the posters for the what we will learn in music. You have to go to the lesson plans by grade. and then you will pick your grade. And then under supporting resources, this is where you will find the poster. And this is the same information that came from English that we put on the French side of our website. So you have to go through that for like each level, pre-K, kindergarten, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., all the way up to middle school. And they're all under overview, and you'll find those posters over there. If I'm going too fast or you miss out, like, on one of the things that I'm showing you, don't hesitate to ask at the end in the question period, and I'll be happy to show you again to get to that. Yeah, that's the same thing I just showed you, like, on the website. So you're in lesson planning, and then you scroll down to the bottom of the screen, and then you pick the grade that you want. Like here, I picked grade 1. And when I click on View All under Supporting Resources, this is what you will see, and this is where the poster is located. We also started work on the monthly overview. So we created files where there will be like a monthly overview for each grade. So we have like September grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. We will develop grade 4 too. We started developing those last year. They're not quite complete yet, but it gives you the name of the song in French, its correspondent in English. In this case, in Vive la musique, it's actually a song that came from pre-kindergarten, so that's why in English, when the song is not in the same grade in French and English, this is where you will find the difference. So this is in grade 1, came from pre-K, and then and we do it for like all the songs that we have. When I'm looking at the second column here, like September grade 2, at song number 4, for example, doesn't have an English equivalent. That's because it is a song in French. It's a kid's song in French that we developed and added to our repertoire of music. So we'll develop those as we go along. And then I'm getting to the part where I'd like to let you know a little bit about our plan for what's coming. So we're currently developing songs in grade 4. That doesn't mean that we're not adding songs in grades 1, 2, and 3. We have quite a list of songs for each grade, and we try to have a fairly good proportion of songs for each grade. So we have more in grade 1s. We have a bit fewer, if you will, in grade 2 and in grade 3. We're building the grade 4, but our focus right now for this year is to continue building grade 4. I have another 6 or 7 songs to develop in grade 4, and we also have a recording session scheduled for sometime in December to have more tracks, to create more songs and more resources for you. We also intend on developing more games and interactive activities. Now that we have a fairly good bank of songs for our grades, we'd like to focus a little bit more on games and interactive activities. Same for units. In the units, we plan on expanding what's currently offered on the website, but we're also going to add new content. For example, we're going to start working in December on expanding our resources for the composer videos, all 6 of them, Bach, Beethoven, Bizet, Handel, Rossini, and Strauss. We'll add resources things like mini books, coloring pages, biographies, worksheets, interactive activities. We're also expanding on Carnival of the Animals, Peter and the Wolf, and we're currently developing also the Nutcracker in French. There's also work being done in English as well. I don't know if you've seen it, but we have a storybook that is just being launched in the store, and we have the storybook available in English and in French, and there's also a video for the storybook that is available in English and French. We plan, as I mentioned earlier, we plan on developing more teacher guides and add those to existing songs that don't have a teacher guide. And we've had requests to start developing modules. Modules are quite the beast to develop, but I think we have enough resources right now to be able to start developing modules. They might not be exactly like they are in English, and they might not be as extensive as what you have in English, but we will put every effort possible, like, in giving you as much as possible in those modules. We'd like to serve you better, and we are here for teachers and we are here for students. We're not here for ourselves. So if you have any desires or needs or ideas or suggestions that you would like to make, we welcome them. Let us know, and we'll be happy to accommodate when possible. We would like to know what would be useful for you as teachers, what would be useful for your students to help them learn and reinforce their learning, whether it's like, very, very general or something very, very specific. Depending on the size of the task, we'll see what we can do for you. For example, would you like a guide for each song? Would you like, is there a game that you find appealing or that your students really, really like and you would like to see, that game in French? Is there an activity in English that is on the website that you come across and go, hey, it'd be cool to have that in French? Then let us know. If you have videos or if you make videos of your students when doing a game with one of our songs, and you would like to share those videos with us, and even potentially add those videos to our songs in French. Because right now what we have for videos attached to the songs are the kids demo, démonstration par les élèves, but those are in English. And the purpose of those is to demonstrate visually what the game looks like when students play it. So we welcome those. And I think, you get a little something in return for the videos that you submit to us that we end up using on our website. How to get a hold of us. If you want to contact me directly, my email is serge@musicplay.ca, and you can ask your question in English or in French or in Spanish if you'd like. And if you have questions about that are more related to support, many of you are already familiar with this email address, support@musicplay.ca. If you're not sure where to send your question, send it to support, and then support will direct your question to the right person here at the office. I'd like to send a bunch of thank yous. First of all, to you for participating in this webinar and being with us today. I never thank the team enough here at MusicPlay. I'm not a one-person show. It takes a team to make our projects come to life and available to you. So whether is the management of the projects or the recordings or building the videos or anything related to technology, the graphics, we have some people who do wonderful work in graphics, or the support team. I also want to thank teachers and subscribers to MusicPlay who encourage us in developing more resources, give us feedback, positive and constructive. We always welcome feedback. And please continue to let us know what you like and what you would like to have on our website. So I'll open it to questions and comments.
Hello.
I just
Hi,
wanted to say
Serge.
merci beaucoup, Serge. You've got quite the working retirement going on. Bravo. Bye.
Merci.
Excellent. So, Serge, I do have a couple of questions
Yep.
here. Could you show us again how to filter for languages?
How to filter for languages? Sure.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the landing page, if you will. And this is where you want to go. You want to look at this box, click on the arrow, and then either select English. I should pick a category first. Yeah. So these are the songs only on the English side. The all languages will give you everything French and English starting in, like I'm in the song, so it starts in grade 1. And as you scroll down and down and down and down, then it will take me to the other grades, like 2, 3, and the French will appear at the very, very bottom of all this. So yeah, there is a way to get to the songs in French using the all languages, but it's way more efficient to go directly to the French language option. And then you have your songs in grade 1, then grade 2, then grade 3. And as I mentioned like earlier, they are identified by colors. Yellow for grade 1, orange for grade 2, red for grade 3, and blue for grade 4.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Last thing I was hoping you could show us is just how to find some of the advocacy resources in French in the lesson plan.
Yeah. So for those, we go to lesson planning. And then the advocacy posters in French are in one section here. And there are like the 4 posters that I mentioned earlier. And then if you want to get to the what we will learn in each grade, then I'll go back to show you where on that page I was. Oops. Okay, I was in lesson planning. So I'm in lesson planning, and then I click on all the grades, and for each grade, let's say I want to see like the poster for grade 2. It's under supporting resources overview, and you have to go view all, and it's buried there. Our hope is that eventually we'll have like all the French resources under a French heading, and rather than being like thrown into a corner of the website. These posters came about when they were developed in English, and right away teacher said like, oh, I want one for my French classroom, and then we worked on them at that time.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much, Serge. That's everything that I've got on the list here. So thank you so much for leading us in this webinar, and thank you everyone for joining us today for this webinar. It's been a great time.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.